Hi, this is Ken Rohla with Fresh and Alive, and I'm here today with my friend Valery Uvarov. I met Valery at the Bosnian Pyramid Conference a couple years ago, and he was one of the very few people on this planet that can blow my mind continually. One of the things that resonated with me immediately when we first met, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I asked you something, and you paused and you said, well, let's be honest. And then you
Yes.
told me about your ET encounter. Tell us a little bit about that encounter. I believe you said you were taken up on a ship and shown your past lives.
It is much more developed than we can imagine. And they can read your mind. They do it quickly. They can read your prehistory, not only this life, all your previous lives. And then the meeting with them, this is the moment when they make kind of a copy of your hologram, because any human being, and you know about it, we have a hologram. But this energetical system contains all information about your past, present, and some future. So they make a copy of it, and then they need to get a key, because in the whole universe, there are no two equal people. We are all different. And to read your information, let's say, they need a special key. To get this key, they need what we call the way of your thinking, how you react on a hot information. So for this, they are giving you some information which makes you nervous. For example, it can be like a warning that you are living wrong, you're making mistakes, your civilization goes the wrong way, and in the nearest future, all your civilization and you're gonna have much problems and very negative experience. And usually your brain immediately starts to react. This is what they need. Exactly how you react. They make this record, and then they can easily get access to you. They can see easily and immediately in which area, in what way you can be very helpful for evolution, not only of yourself, but also evolution of solar system, even galaxy. And then they make a following step. Usually people do not feel it, people do not realize it, but it is downloading enormous quantity of information, like on a hard disk, like on SSD, like ring, and all information immediately there. The game they play is very honest. The information which you have can be activated in your brains only in case if you start thinking about it. If you start thinking, for example, about UFOs, the information about UFOs starts to open. If you're thinking about pyramids or ancient Egyptian civilization, this information starts to open. Everything is very, very natural and very, very honest. I need to open this knowledge. I need to give it to people, because this is kind of responsibility for the future of our civilization. So this information is for humanity, not for me.
What you're saying is very, very similar to my experience.
Now I understand that this outer world, external, extraterrestrial world, and we are living like one living organism. So, and they also very clearly understand that information which we get should be used in a very proper manner. We should develop ourselves, but this development must not be quick. It should be very portioned. And at the same time, it's really important that people knew the truth. Because if the information which you have is wrong information, that means that you're gonna build the building of understanding on a very wrong basis. Building of the future civilization must stand on a very truthful information. What actually happened with our civilization within the last 15,000 years? But this is a key moment, I tell you, because there was a period, pretty long period in the history of our galaxy, where and when our civilization played a very important, decisive role. But we need to know what happened. So this is the reason why you and me, we are investigating, we are sharing. So like this, we are creating a conscious, very important informational field. And this is kind of a power which then stimulates people to go on in investigation, to go on in self-perfection. Without this energy, without this power, we can do nothing, my friend. And all that tools which ancient used have been created exactly for this reason, to empower internal energy of a human being, this strong wish to change this world for better, to improve your health. And what is most important, what I have found in all that ancient text, they knew the technology of consciously controlled reincarnation. And this is the key moment, my friend, because this opens unbelievable possibilities for humanity. This world can be changed within the following 15 years, no more, 15 years. And we will be living in a different civilization.
So I know those solutions exist. You mentioned this pivotal moment in human history that changed everything. Are you talking about the destruction of the planet Maldek in our solar system?
In the history of our galaxy and our solar system, that events, as I said, they played a decisive role. This destruction of Maldek, actually Sumerian name Tiamat, the ecosystem of Mars was destroyed. And that was the last moment of a very long period, which in ancient texts is named War of the Gods. And important is that according to that text, Martian civilization started this war in our galaxy. Martian and Tiamat, these two civilizations, they have been so successful in fighting against all galaxy, so successful that in a historical and human memory, Mars became the god of war. External civilization, not only one, all of them, they had to put their knowledge, their power, their capabilities together so that at the last moment and the critical moment of this war, to successfully fight against Martian civilization. And how it happened, I'm just now writing a part of the book, and also I'm making a short video about it. It's interesting how they did it. Very unusual.
For just a moment, for people who are wondering what the heck we're talking about, now there are actually secret space program whistleblowers who are coming forth in the United States and other places talking about the real history of Earth and our solar system. And the story is that there was a large planet in our solar system in the vicinity of where Mars is now, called Tiamat or Maldek, and Mars was its moon. And so they both had civilizations on them, human civilizations, and they got into a war, and Mars wound up destroying Maldek, which became our asteroid belt. Is that your understanding of the story?
According to ancient texts, these two planets, they were living together and working as two parts of a civilization of a solar system. Mars was the central civilization. Maldek, Tiamat, was the one very technically developed. So what I'd like to point out, they are not dead. Now we should keep in mind that those events which are taking place now in our solar system, especially how extraterrestrial civilization are treating us, why it's so specific. Those who lived on Mars and Tiamat, they are not fully died. They moved on the planet behind the sun. In our solar system, according to ancient Egyptian texts, we have another planet, very big one, and I was trying to find the name of this planet in Sumerian text, and I found it. This planet is called Marduk. Right at the last phase, last moment of that very long-lasting 2,000 years war, Marduk was moved in our solar system, and then Marduk was moved behind the sun, and there, on the same orbit of the planet Earth, it stands quite opposite to us, and they are there. But let's get back to the moment we have been started with you, and I didn't explain shortly what happened, how this War of the God was actually made. According to destiny and history of our solar system, it so happened naturally. Each 33 million years, solar system goes or flies through so-called meteoritic floor. And this floor killed many forms of life during this long history of the planet Earth. For example, 65 million years ago, this meteoritic floor killed dinosaurs. And that civilizations, Mars, Maldek, and some others, they built a complex in our solar system and on our planet Earth too, which defends our solar system against this meteorites and asteroids. So, and that moment when the War of the God was at the critical phase also was a period when our solar system again started to move through the meteoritic flow. And that external civilization managed to manipulate, to intervene the normal activity of this installation. Let's say they switch it off. And when we moved through the meteoritic flow and huge planetoids and asteroids were flying through the solar system, installation didn't help. And these huge asteroids, they destroyed Maldek. Maldek exploded. And pieces of Maldek, they not only formed the asteroid belts, these pieces attacked Mars. Mars has received 3 very powerful asteroid impacts so that they broke through the crust and affected the rotation of the core of the planet. Mars immediately lost its magnetic field. Whole solar system have been brought into chaos. And this chaos, according to ancient texts, lasted more than 10,000 years. And for these 10,000 years, somebody was trying to reorganize solar system, to bring the planet in a certain order, replacing orbits, replacing the locations of some planets. And according to Mayan text, the last event which took place in our solar system was appearance of the Venus. According to Mayan text, 3113 BC, Venus appeared on the orbit around the sun. Before there was no Venus. And that was the moment when the solar system again was brought into a certain balance. And now we are here in this situation.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's interesting, these things that you told me earlier about this. And also, I believe you said that the moon is a constructed device, that it's not a natural satellite, that it was brought here You told me this, and
Yeah, it's according
it was
to
brought here to help balance the orbit of Earth.
yes, because 13,671 years ago, huge planetoid hit the planet Earth, and planet Earth lost its orbit and started to move away, fly away from the sun. Somebody moved here the biggest piece of Tiamat. They somehow made it, as we see it now, moon. This is the big piece of Tiamat, which they cut, somehow made a ball, and moved into the magnetic field of the planet Earth, increased the mass of the Earth, and planet Earth have been stopped where we are now. This is the reason why before we had the year cycle of 360 days. According to all ancient calendars, now we have 365 days. And these 5 days, this is exactly the distance how far we flew away from the sun. And this causes critical changes of climate on the planet Earth. So yes, moon appeared not so long ago, and it's a pretty new object. It's not millions of years, no, it's very new object. And Venus also is very new object. And as long as moon and Venus appeared very, very recently, this is the reason why all ancient civilization, Mayan civilization, Chinese, all developed civilization, they started to recalculate. They built a special complexes watching the moon, watching the Venus, calculating their rhythms, calculating their cycles. Because ancient priests knew that all this planet rotating around the sun are affecting not only our human body, they are affecting our energetical system. And for example, this is the reason why Venus, this is the planet which is symbolized by goddess, Venus, goddess of love, sexual love. Why? Venus has so strong connection to sexual side, because Venus is rotating on the second orbit, but second chakra is a sexual chakra.
Exactly. So it's like the second chakra of the solar system.
Exactly. So now, just by very simple example, I showed you what kind of a very serious problems those extraterrestrials had to decide, and also those priests who were living on the planet Earth, not only to recalculate, but also balance solar system so that our bodies, our energetical system would stay alive and be capable for self-development. Because ecosystem of our solar system have been fully destroyed.
You know, I actually have a video on YouTube called The Physics of Consciousness, and I get into how we're basically part of this galactic matter energy system, and at various levels of scale, you've got these scalar wave antennas. Our bodies are fractal scalar wave antennas. Planets and suns are like portals for this energy. But basically what you're saying makes sense. For somebody who kind of can't see the big picture of this may sound like a bunch of nonsense, but the planets, for example, being like chakras in the body, it makes absolute sense when you look at the solar system as a big antenna, so to speak, that at the insides of these planets and in the inside of our sun, you've got these portals or black holes or whatever you want to call them, that are relaying this energy from the rest of the cosmos into this system at a solar system level. And then each planet has its planetary energetics. And then that, you know, we're part of that system as well. Our bodies, as above, so below, we have the same kind of energetic structure within us with these, you know, the body's full of these black holes.
This is exactly the key moment why not only Egyptians, priests, all of them, they were very carefully watching what's going on with the planets, because any planet, like for example, planet Earth, has a core. This core is kind of a source of life energy, energy which stimulates any living creature on the planet Earth. This is the key energy, and this is also container of everything we need, not only for our self-perfection, also core of the planet. And the planet itself has all information we need about our galaxy, about the universe. Everything is here. So what we need once to understand the construction of the universe, construction of the planet, and then we need to find a connection, plug in to this source of energy. But planet Earth, this is our mother. Planet Earth created our bodies. So we are tuned on the planet Earth. But as long as, not so long ago, planet Earth have been moved away from the sun and all the rhythms have been broken, they needed to create tools to somehow fine-tune their bodies to the planet Earth. Just, realizing these events which took place not so long ago. So, and anything now we see in the hands of ancient Egyptian priests, whether it's gonna be the wands of Horus or insoles or strange corona, anything, this is the tools for fine-tuning, for one reason, to synchronize energetical system of a human being with the energetical system of the planet Earth, chakra by chakra, energetical body by energetical body. And if we do it, everything will be changed in our life.
Yeah.
Everything. Things, and we are kings, we are gods.
So let's talk about these tools and how we can use them, because, I talk about big concepts like this, but then I also always present to people, okay, this is all great, but what can we do with it? And that's where your expertise is really very valuable, because you've actually built these devices and you have done things with them, with people, and see what the results are. So let's talk first, before we get into pyramids, that's a large subject, but let's talk about the wands of Horus and these insoles and the things that you've developed, how they work and what they can do for people.
First of all, what made me fascinated, that these instruments are pretty simple to use. It's not like something special, we need to sit somewhere in a special position. No, the wands of Horus, you can see them in the hands of any statues, of any pharaohs, they have these tools. What is it? What the role these tools are playing? And I needed more than 20 years to understand how they work and to try to explain what is the meaning of this tool. In ancient times, and even today, our present doctors, the most honest from them, they know that each human being, each of us, has a so-called internal doctor who knows everything about you, about state of your health. And this internal doctor is called endocrine system. In reality, we are constructed very, very complicated. What it means, shortly, your body, it's a milliard by milliard by milliard cells, and each cell has its own vibration. These cells form the organs. Organs forms the conglomerates of organs. It forms your body. So if you need to correctly analyze your state of health, you need to get contact to each of your cells and analyze any weak electrochemical, and any processes which are taking place in each of your cells. It's easy to understand. On the level of our technology, it's impossible. Completely impossible. Even just imagine if you put a contact to each of your cell what kind of a computer or software you need to analyze. But we are sitting here, and while we are talking, we are flying through solar system, right? And each second, the electromagnetic field of the galaxy is changed. It affects our sun. Sun explodes. Charged particles flies to the planet Earth. They affecting us. And in each cell, everything is changed each second. It's impossible to scan, analyze by the equipment and scientific approaches which we have now. Impossible. But ancient priests, they did it perfect. They did it so clever. So how they did it? First of all, according to the principle we have started to talk with you, the principle of anthropic similarity, when we say that the human body is constructed exactly like solar system, exactly the same construction of the planet Earth. Let's take into account the human body and the planet Earth. We have the physical body, planet have the physical body. We have 7 energetical bodies, the planet Earth have energetical bodies. We have energetical channels, planet Earth. Everything is the same, completely. So, ancient text says we need to synchronize our body with the energetical body of the planet Earth, one thing. Then, according to that principle, we have been starting to talk. Endocrine system, our internal doctors knows what we need now. Hypothalamus, hypophysis, pituitary system, this central organ of our endocrine system is controlling any processes which are taking place in our body, in any cell. And then this information goes through central nervous system to hypothalamus and hypophysis. This system is analyzing information and then sends back signals for corrections of any deviations from norm. And all these signals are weak electric and electromagnetic signals. All ancient text says in the middle of palm, we have projection of hypothalamus and hypophysis, which we call third eye. And here, remember, they also made a drawing of the eye. When we take these wands in the hands, we immediately bring to the quartz crystal our warmth, our electricity, and the crystal inside get polarized, plus and minus. Crystal starts to vibrate. It's so-called piezoelectric effect. And what's going on then? These signals, which are sent by hypothalamus pituitary system, these weak electromagnetic signals go into resonance with the quartz, and quartz empowers these signals. It affects our body so that aura of a human being starts to vibrate with vibration dictated by hypothalamus and hypophysis. So it means by this very simple way, we are retransmitting the signal. Our aura through peripheral energetical nervous system starts to heal our body. On one hand, this is a very simple idea, but this is an absolutely genius idea. Quartz inside of the wands, the core of the planet, has 72% of the quartz. When our planet is vibrating, the energetical system of the planet Earth is vibrating, body is vibrating, because all these energetical influences of a cosmic rays, rotation of the planet, all this is affecting the quartz and the core, which is generating piezoelectric effect. And the aura of the planet Earth is communicating, is interacting with this piezoelectric effect. So through the quartz in the core and the quartz in the wand, resonance effect, we are transmitting the vibration of the energetical bodies of the planet Earth onto our body. And each energetical bodies of our physical body starts to vibrate with the same vibration of the planet Earth bodies. Genius idea. So just to get into resonance with the vibration of energetical system of the planet Earth, the ancient use quartz. Quartz, because as I told you, we have 72% of the quartz in the core, but the quartz has the same type of the crystal lattice as the water, which looks like a pyramid, tetrahedral system. Water and the quartz are working in resonance together, go into resonance with the quartz inside. Through the quartz inside, it affects the biological water in our body, and all this starts to work as one system. And like this, we are getting into the contact with the energetical system of the planet Earth. Genius. Genius. Nothing to compare.
I totally get what you're saying because, as you know, I make devices as well. And quartz has a very specific frequency. And so when you're holding these wands of Horus, as you mentioned, you're resonating with the frequency of the quartz. It's bringing you into alignment with the frequency of the earth and the quartz, raising your frequency, basically.
It's a very simple way, but it's perfect. On the other hand, one cylinder made of copper, another one made of zinc. This is actually galvanic pair. So it means when we take them, between these two cylinders appears difference of potential. On one hand, we can say, okay, but what is the meaning? What stands behind it? Time, the speed of time stands behind it. This is the reason why all ancient technologies were built around one and the same idea. All that instruments were constructed for one reason, to create difference of potentials between right and left side of a human body, between Ka and Ba in ancient Egyptian tradition, yin and yang, because from Eastern tradition we know that yin yang, it's a male and female beginning, plus and minus, whatever, that's great, but one thing is lost. Yin and yang, it's two counter flows of time. So if you bring these flows of time into harmony and you keep this harmony for 2 weeks, your inner biological time will be conservated.
When you gave me those insoles and I put them in my shoes, I was tired for about 10 days and I was having cleanse reactions from it. You have different types of wands and the insoles. What are the different purposes of the different wands?
All depends on a level of your energetical system state. If you have a weak energetical system, you have problems with blood pressure, you need to start to develop your system very smoothly, step by step, not like hop. So these instruments are solving the problems which you will never be able to solve with the help of chemistry. Because chemistry, it's okay, sometimes we need it. I'm not against medicine, but what ancient did, we need to combine with the present medicine. We need to put it together, and then results will be perfect. For self-perfection of any human being, there is one very important condition. We critically need to bring our nervous system into stable, calm state. An Egyptian text very clearly says, calm down your nervous system, the eye of God will come to you. Without it, no chance. But our life is so stressful, and people who are living in stress, they are not guilty. We're just living in a system. We have got this system as a legacy from previous times. And now we need to find the way how to solve these problems. And ancient knowledge has a key ideas. And the wands of Horus, especially with a big or large grain quartz, small grain or fine grain quartz, has unbelievably calming effect on the nervous system. This instrument is perfect, for example, for teachers. I have many letters and emails from teachers working in the schools with kids. They were so grateful, saying to me, Valery, you can't imagine that now working with the wands, my internal oven is very calm. Before, when I saw how kids are behaving, it made me sometimes crazy, but I had to keep myself together. I'm always under stress, but now, after 2 months of using the wands, I feel that inside I'm absolutely calm. That was the lady. I remember that email very, very clearly because it affected me very much. She said, now I do not react so deep and so negative as I did before. And even when my kids are behaving like a crazy, I feel love to them. I do not feel anymore that hatred or something like this. Thank you, she said, because I do not use any medicine. I do nothing. I just use the wands of Horus at home in the evening and I feel fine.
How long do you hold these wands and how do you use them?
The wands you need to use in a proper time, in a proper place. When you want to affect or heal your kidney or pancreas or whatever, each of this organ has 2 hours of activity of energetical channels through 24-hour period. So if you take a table and you want to correct the situation with your liver, you take this 2 hours. The best way, you go for a walk or you open the window. If you are living somewhere outside, it's perfect. You can go to the tree with the wands and it has deep effect, very, very corrective effect. So best way is to make a right choice, just taking into account the condition of your body, on what you're gonna have an influence. And then the best way is to use the wands in the open air. Then your energetical system opens up immediately, like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and your aura grows very, very wide, and it starts to interact with the energetical field of the earth. What is important, intensity of observation of energy from surroundings increases up to 40%. This is very important result. It gives a lot to human being. Just keep the wands. Like all other people in this world, I'm also so busy that I use wands at night. I go to bed, I take them and sleep with them. I have my insoles on my legs, in the socks, and I can tell you honestly, absolutely honestly, I had this experience many times. If I put my wands away and my insoles away for 1 month or even 3 weeks, in 3 weeks, I feel, oh my gosh, that I am 65. I feel it very, very well. But when I take the wands, when I take my insoles, next night, I sleep very well. In the morning, I get up very early and I feel myself as I am 25 years old. And I tell you, thanks to ancient Egyptian priests, thank you that you left records, information in the form acceptable, understandable, reachable for us, so that we can read it and we can create this tool and use it today.
Now you mentioned the insoles, and talk about those. I know they're composed of copper and layers of copper and silver. How do they work, and what kinds of benefits can people get from them?
Oh, insoles. Also, I'm amazed. If you look on the soul from Chinese system, that this is the remote control of your body. Everything is here. What you need to do is just to put insoles with copper and zinc inserts inside, so that they create a difference of potentials between a certain zones affecting the organ. These insoles not only affect the speed of energy movement through the channels, they create plus and minus on 2 ends of energetical channel which is moving through the human body. Blood circulation system starts to get activated. Blood moves easier, faster. Insoles, the wands of Horus, are the tools which I would present to my best friends. Because I know that this is working so great that all my best friends, they are worthy to have it. They need to know about it. This is the reason why you can see these tools in the hands of any statue of ancient Egyptian priests or pharaohs. Why? Because that was the instrument of a very high cosmic value. People today still do not understand that, by many reasons. Mostly not because they are not able. People just busy. Our friends, they just busy. They have families, they have offices, work and whatever, politics, anything. What I can do is just to investigate and to tell you, listen, Ken, I tell you, this is really great stuff. Believe me, use it, and you will tell me many, many times, Valery, great things. This is the way, how I see it.
So let's talk about pyramids, since that's one of the things that you're famous for, and you've done a lot of work with them. Let's talk about, what they are, how they work, and also how your wands of Horus and the insoles work with this pyramid technology.
In ancient Egypt, anything they used or created have been produced for very special reason. Nothing just to show up status that I'm a king. No, these people was very far away from that. They were using instruments for main reason, just to correct the balance of time, field of time inside of their bodies. And the difference between the wands of Horus is not only in size. For sure, a pyramid is a huge instrument, and you have to go into the pyramid. And pyramid has very unusual effect. This is the reason why I wrote the whole book about it. But this book is just the beginning. It's a preliminary step just to prepare your consciousness, your perception for conversation on a quite new level. In this book, I started to talk on the scientific basis, showing that the pyramids, for example, have a very beneficial effect on the human health, not only on our nervous system. We can fight against cancer with almost 100% success. Sure, on one hand, it depends on the level of the cancer, but pyramid does something that no other chemical remedy can do. No, I myself, studying the pyramids and the pyramid effect, I came to scientific conclusion that pyramid is a tool which will help humanity, our science, medicine, to make in the nearest future a very important life-changing step. And for this, we put together pyramids and present medicine. I myself, on one hand, on one level, I did it already. But at the same time, being the person who is investigating the pyramids, I can tell you, I came to a special moment when I understood that there is another science, another truth about the pyramid, about human health, about human body. This is new way of thinking. It's absolutely new approach, which we can start to learn very actively. And we got already some practical results. For me, this conversation with you, it's not exchange of fantasies,
Right.
exchange of plans, what we're gonna do. No. This is much more.
For one thing, you've done it, and we'll talk about your specific projects. And also, both you and I know, because we were on a team of engineers and scientists and researchers studying the Bosnian pyramids with Sam Osmanagic, that, there are people with stage 4 cancer going into the Bosnian pyramids and coming out with no cancer. So it's not like you're just making this stuff up or we're talking fantasy. It's happening now, and
It's happening.
been participating in that happening.
But on the other hand, medical scientists have right, and I understand them when they asked me many times, listen, Valery, this esoteric approach, it's fun, it's great, but we would like to touch something material. Can you write something for us using our language, using the way of understanding as we have? This is the reason why, by the way, I wrote the Wands of Horus book using this scientific language. And general public read it sometimes saying, listen, Valery, it's too much, scientific. But I am trying to explain. My friends, doctors, asked me, Valery, can you do it honestly for us? And I did it. The pyramid book is written much more simple for people, but I'm coming to a moment of understanding and wish to write some additional important piece of information using this type of scientific language, putting together not only results of scientific investigation of the pyramids, the wands, insults which we did. Also, I'm planning to put all this together with religion aspect, because investigating Bible, Gospels, I understood that these books contain also a lot of information about technologies. But these technologies are described by a very special way, by a very special manner and language, which we now, or today, we call it religious way of thinking, religious way of talking. But I did the step beyond it. And this is the reason why now I'm ready to start talking about this technology described in this religious text. And I'm sure when we put it together, we will give our civilization, we will give to our kids tools for very active step
If
forward.
I can interrupt you for just a moment, that's one thing. I downloaded your book on pyramids that you're talking about, and it's really, really fascinating. Is it on your newpyramids.store website?
Yes. Yeah, you can download PDF file from there.
Yeah, I highly recommend it because it ties so many different things together. It ties together physics and biology and spirituality, religion, all kinds of stuff.
In that book, you will find a lot of scientific protocols of investigation of the pyramid effect on living and non-living origin. And this is very important, but at the same time, I want to tell you, this is preliminary step. In the nearest future, we're going to make much more, my friends. And pyramids, again, I'd like to point out, this is the tool for our daily life. No mystics, no esoterics. This is instrument which we can use, successfully use. First of all, we need to build it in a proper way. We can use pyramids like home office pyramid, which we can use at home, in our office, in the room of our kids, and they are very effective. They have a very deep effect on our blood. And not only, if people will download the book and read it, they will find a lot of scientific reports there. But big pyramid, where we can go inside, this is absolutely different story. First of all, we need to build the pyramids from white quartz. It should be proper material. We need to find the right place, like we did in Russia. We started to build the big complex of pyramids. Today, we have built 13 pyramids on the area of 40 hectares. But now we started already to build airport there, close to, last year, we built our private airport there, and we're gonna build the city of the pyramids, and we already owned 525 hectares of land just for building the city of the pyramids, with kindergartens, with school, business centers, healing centers, spiritual centers, and many things there will be for people for free. People can go there with families, swim in the sacred lakes where water have been exposed, not only in pyramid. Pyramids are around. Go on my website.
Man, I'm moving there.
And you will, by the way, just 1 year ago, if you didn't see this page, the face number 7, there I showed and gave the story like UFO appeared there just exactly when we finished the phase number 7, and we put a special 4 pyramid at the corner of this 40 hectares land. It was 4 very special pyramids. Next moment, we saw like UFO booms appeared over 1, pyramid, then it was hanging over the pyramid like 2 minutes, and then it was a jump 540 meters less than a second. Shink there,
Wow.
2 minutes, shink there, 2 minutes, shink there, 2 minutes, and then disappeared. It means UFO made a GPS mark.
Oh, you know what? Structures like pyramids were often used by extraterrestrials when they're doing time travel and dimension travel.
Yes.
Because it helps them locate themselves in time and space.
Yes, because it's critically important. Critically. And what this UFO did, I understood it immediately. They made a special marks on the map of universe that now you have here kind of a pyramidal shaped huge antenna. So you can, it's a GPS marker.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, you also mentioned to me that, you've got these 4 pyramids on the corners of this square, very large lot. And then at the center, you've got a larger pyramid.
Yes.
And overall, that makes one giant energetic pyramid. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So, and I've seen, pictures and video of the interior of, I think, the big one in the middle. Tell us about, to the degree you feel comfortable with, tell us about what's inside of these things and what kinds of phenomena and experiences you've had. I know Sam Osmanagic told me a few things when he visited. And I think you guys slept inside the big pyramid, didn't you?
No, this one, no. When he visited, that pyramid have been still under construction. But this central pyramid, it's very unusual. It stands on a 12-facet foundation, which is 4 meters high. Any energetical flow which comes from the core of the planet has kind of a negative component, always. So to
because
cut...
of the geology?
No, it's normal. When I say we have a negative component, it means a negative component for our form of life, for our bodies, on this particular level of development.
Okay.
On the next level of development, what we are talking about now will not be negative. But today, it's better to cut off or to neutralize this type of vibration. So for this reason, we created such a thing like a 12-facet foundation. Then under the pyramid complex, we built very big energetical source. It's a device on the square of 40 hectares. On the depth of 6 meters, there is huge device. What is the reason? First of all, we need to gather all this energy which is around this complex and to move, to concentrate this energy vortex in the central pyramid. By this way, we are creating kind of a portal in the central pyramid. This central pyramid has 25 resonators inside in the form of the pyramid. We did it for a very special reason, not only for meditation, because people can go and meditate there, no problem. We did it for very specific technical and scientific purposes. We made some experiments and we noticed that we can transfer the capacity, the healing effect from medicine onto water.
So programming water homeopathically, so to speak.
We can call it programming, but this little bit different mechanism, because any chemicals or medicine, it has kind of a crystal lattice with its own vibration and capacities. Whether you can use these chemicals and all these negative effects which we can encounter, or we transmit, we bring this vibration onto water by natural way, and then you drink this water without any negative effects.
Gotcha.
But healing effect is absolutely the same. And we noticed many years ago, we did experiment with insulin. We put the insulin under the water, and then in resonator we were transmitting this vibration And then when you drink the water, it has almost the same effect without insulin. It was interesting. And also what we got, the insulin which we have been using was out of date. It was not active for already a few months. When we put it in the pyramid for 12 days and then took it out and analyzed, insulin restored its effectiveness fully. And what is interesting, now I tell you the most interesting moment. This insulin had immune stimulating effect.
Interesting. Interesting.
This is more than interesting, I tell you. We have been so fascinated. So this is the reason why we have decided to build, and we already spent $25 million on this complex already, because we know we're going to have absolutely unbelievable results.
Yeah. Have you worked any with monatomic elements with these types of solutions?
Not yet. Not yet.
That's an area. It sounds like we're working in some similar areas in different ways. I'm actually working on what I call Ormus homeopathics, which are basically you put a monoatomic element like gold into water, and then you can program it with frequency, and it will radiate those frequencies outward and have amazing results. We actually have a radiation formula on our website, an anti-radiation that will neutralize radioactivity in the body using that principle. And I'm sure you could do that with pyramids.
This is the reason why we have built the pyramids with a very complicated construction, because inside these pyramid-shaped resonators, they were built precisely with a special system, technical devices inside, so that we could then transmit these vibrations from the medicine onto water. It's a very specific stuff.
How long does it hold its properties? Is it permanent or does it lose it after a while?
Interesting is that after the pyramid effect, it keeps or saves these capacities for years.
Wow.
For years. That's amazing.
That is. There's a lot of there are more and more energetically charged supplements and things coming out on the market, but most of them don't hold their frequencies very long.
I tell you, even we had a wonderful results with the red wine, for example.
I just read about that in your book. Yeah, tell people about that.
Oh, it's interesting, I tell you. 3 years ago, we made an experiment. We bought in France very cheap €1 bottle wine. Very cheap. We brought it to the pyramid and exposed for 2 weeks, and then invited the specialists from that factory just to test and show what's gonna with the wine. You know, I would give a lot to see how you would react on the eyes of this French, they were just tested the wine and they were looking and said, "What you did with this wine? It's impossible. This is cheap wine, but it has absolutely amazing capacities. What did you do?" We have been smiling, we have been laughing. But interesting is that this wine, first of all, it has effect. You can drink 1 liter, 2 liter with no any negative effects. Your head will be clear.
Wow.
Yeah, this is 100%. In any case, it works like this. But then what is important? It has, first of all, immune stimulating effect. We have registered. And what is interesting also, it has a very positive effect on blood circulation system. Good.
Wow.
Now I know what kind of red wine and what for we're going to drink and what for it was created in ancient times. So I tell you, for clever people, it could be perfect business.
Oh, well, that reminds me too, a few years ago, I met a Buddhist monk. He was actually the abbot of a Buddhist monastery in Los Angeles. And I took some classes with him. And one of the things he taught me was how to do exactly what you're talking about. You could do it with any drink, but he would do it with wine. He got some really cheap wine and he would do this meditation over it for 2 minutes, and it would radically change the taste properties of the wine and make it taste good. And he actually did it as a parlor trick. We were at a hotel, we were at a conference, so we were in the hotel, and we were in the restaurant of the hotel, and we were right next to the bar, and there were some people drinking some wine, and he did it to their wine. It was really funny. You know, in like 2 minutes, he took these people, didn't know them, and just zapped their wine with his meditation and altered the wine and made it taste better. And of course, it blew them away. You know, it was.
Yeah, the taste is different, effect is different. Wine changes its capacities critically. So that's the reason why I can tell you, take the just normal wine, you expose in the pyramid. First of all, you have kind of a remedy, healing effect, very deep, positive healing effect.
Well, that's great news for wine drinkers, because I get people asking me about, well, can't I just drink some wine every now and then? It's like, well, you know, the alcohol is not that great for you, but this is really good news for wine drinkers and the French, I guess.
But up till today, I can't understand why wine dealers, they do not use this effect, because it could bring the wine on an absolutely new level of selling effects. Because
well, for anybody listening, there's a new industry right there.
If I would go to the shop and I saw there real wine bottles exposed into the pyramid, you understand, I would buy only this type of wine, only, nothing else.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the inside of your large pyramid and what kinds of things you've experienced in there.
So first of all, I'd like to explain that this complex of pyramid is still not ready for full 100% work, still not ready, because we need to complete a special connection, because this energetical system I was talking about a few minutes ago, it's there, but it should be connected by a very special way. It's not completed, not finished. When we will finish it, then we're gonna install inside of the pyramid special mirrors, special system which will allow us, will help us to affect the field of time. And here I'm sure that we will be able to open the real portal, but we're not gonna do it like running. We're gonna do it very, carefully, step by step. I would say on a scientific basis. We need to record anything we did, anything we do, anything we're gonna do in the future, and then all that effects will be recorded, analyzed, and so on and so on. So this, for us, it's a serious work. And again, I'd like to tell you and explain, we are far from mystic. We are far from esoteric, let's say, in the general way of thinking. No, we prefer experiments which we can repeat, repeatable experiments, but everything is based on the ancient scientific texts describing the effects. So now we are creating the tool to be able to receive this result. And again, at last, I'd like to tell you that up till today, up till now, I am investigating the pyramids.
Let me ask you, what's the difference between, in function, or the difference between a regular smooth-sided pyramid and a ziggurat, the stepped pyramids?
There is a difference. To form the preliminary understanding, what is the difference, I would divide these pyramids into two main parts, smooth-sided and step pyramids. Smooth-sided pyramids, we are working inside of the pyramid. Step-sided, we are working on top of the pyramid. Step ziggurats should be built on a special places. It should be the place of power. It should be a very strong energetical beam. And when you put this pyramid on top of this beam, this pyramid becomes kind of a prolongation of this beam, giving to vibration of this beam a special capacities tuned on the human body. this step ziggurats has so strong effect on the human energetical system and energetical body like nothing else in this universe. But in nowadays, problem is that most part of the pyramids which you can find in Yucatan, they were built in the later times when the knowledge have been lost. And in whole Yucatan, you can find a couple of pyramids built on a proper place. So we cannot take them in account discussing or explaining the effect. But working with all possible information I had access to, I can tell you, step ziggurats you are working on, they are prolongation of the energetical beam. Small pyramids, we are working inside. The beam goes into the pyramid, then it reflects many times, creating inside a special 3 focal zones with 3 different capacities, 3 different type of effects. They didn't mix the pyramid. They did this one or this one. Always keep in mind, my friend, always. Unfortunately, most part of the pyramids in Egypt, in Mayan civilization, were built at the time when the knowledge have been lost. This is the reason why we had to build new pyramids in Tomsk. Just for...
Speaking of that, one of the things that I want to do, as you know, is bring you here to Florida and build a pyramid, show people how to build pyramids properly.
First of all, we need to have a land. Then we take geological, morphological maps and so on. Then we check energy. We find the proper place. Better if this place has energetical connections to different areas of America, so that this pyramid actually would affect not only this area, a big part of America. And then there, we're gonna build a pyramid according to the purpose. What would you like to build it for? If you want to stimulate the consciousness, it's gonna be one type of construction. If you're gonna heal people from cancer, a little bit different type of construction. All depends on how you're gonna use it.
Well, interestingly enough, I live on the largest ley line in the United States. It comes down from Mount Shasta in California across the US right through where I live. I would like to build a pyramid to protect Florida against hurricanes and severe weather, because as you know, there's a lot of weather engineering going on, and these storms, there are always telltale signs you can see in these hurricanes that hit Florida of scalar interferometry being used with them. So I'd like to help protect Florida against the hurricanes.
Well, it's one of the reasons why in ancient times pyramids have been built for. They were trying to control and manipulate seismic activity.
As you know, Russian pyramid scientist Alexander Golod showed exactly that. You know, he had access to a lot of advanced technology because he was in the Russian military, and he showed that exactly that it reduces seismic activity massively in large areas.
Today in Russia, it's not a secret. All people know it because we did many films about it, where professional geologists and experimenters who was experimenting with the pyramids, they confessed that they noticed this effect, that pyramid has anti-seismic effect. For sure, pyramid cannot, shut down the seismic activity 100%. No, it's because reasons are cosmic. They are much more serious. But to damp it down seriously, it is possible.
So what kinds of pyramids can people build themselves, where they won't get into trouble? Is there certain things that they can do with pyramid technology themselves?
I know one thing. The more pyramids will be built, the more positive effect for the whole country will be, for sure. People can get a lot of positive effects, a lot, health issues, and many others, also business issues, a lot. That's the reason why I tell you, let's make a plan. What we're gonna do, what we're gonna have, what we would like to have. And then we can create a construction, like in ancient times, ancient Egyptian architects did. This is the reason why we cannot find 2 equal pyramids, because they have been built for different people, for different purposes. That's why they have a different proportions and other things.
Yeah, I'd like to demonstrate to people how they can build a pyramid with materials that we can get here, you know, as opposed to giant monolithic stone slabs or whatever.
Not only, no, in the nearest maybe month, I'm gonna make a new page, web page on my website about the pyramid, new pyramid store, where I show how my friend in Moscow, he built the pyramid for himself, and it was interesting effect.
Well, I know it's getting late there, and I don't want to keep you all night, so you know, let me once again remind people your website is newpyramids.store, and you can download Valery's book Pyramids there as a PDF for free. It's a amazing book, and it'll tie a lot of threads together. You know, we've just touched on the surface, so I'll definitely be interviewing you again and get into more details on some of the practical things that we can do with these and other things. You have some really interesting products there, which we'll talk about in a little bit. One being the Wands of Horus, and several other things, including ancient Egyptian sole inserts for your shoes, some very interesting stuff. And you very graciously gave me a set of the insoles, which I've worn, and very interesting effects on this. So we'll talk about those. But basically it's based on ancient Egyptian technology, correct?
All right.
I read your book Pyramids, by the way, and it's, man, for anybody who's interested in pyramids and ancient Egyptian history, it is just very, very fascinating, because not only does it give a lot of new esoteric information and new interpretations of things, but also it ties so many different things together from a galactic perspective on down to human anatomy, and it's really, really brilliant treatise. But is there anything else that you would like to include?
Well, first of all, let's say like this: this is the first meeting, first workshop or seminar like this. Let's consider be first and not last. Let's continue. And step by step, we can give to people, we can bring to people a lot of interesting data. I will prepare some videos, maybe some photos, some additional information on my website about the construction processes, so people can see and make a decision what they want. And I think most part of the people will be able to offer this possibility and to build the pyramids in their own garden. It's not so difficult. And on the other hand, it's not so expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your wisdom and knowledge and brilliance, and we'll definitely be talking again. So I'll let you go, and again, thank you so much.
You're welcome, my friend.
All righty.
And I want to say hello to all people in America. Remember, Russia loves you very much. We're loving you very much.
Likewise, you know that I've been amazed in my travels overseas. I haven't been to Russia yet, but I've been to countries, for example, like France, where I thought that they wouldn't be terribly warm to Americans because of our politics and our history. But I'm very uplifted from the standpoint that everywhere I go, people, I think because of the internet and YouTube and things like that, people are not believing in the lies that our governments have told us about each other now. So people are much more kind and friendly. I mean, just amazingly so everywhere I travel. So, you know, here in the United States, it's always, you know, been popular from our governments and the powers that be to make the Russians be the root of all evil, with whether it's elections or whatever. But people are seeing through that more and more thanks to the internet. So likewise, you know, I want people to know that here in the United States, you know, most people aren't falling for that stupidity anymore. And certainly the Russian people I know here in the United States and I've met overseas are amazing, amazing people, like people everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So big hug from me to all of you, to America. Remember, we are together. And when we are together, we will win.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Welcome, my friends, and hope to see you soon again.